Yeah. Tune in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I said the end, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I don't firmly straight the plot. Or when I'm stand up for the stone, I live my life. Been east to rich when eastern they stick when I make it fast. But the schoolies never bet for me, my dough is still for thighs. I'm the horn, niggas know they cute too, I keep out the bone. But let's get it, you know my me and miss be up the shown. And when I see a nigga smile, you will stay up front. And if they got me, know then I, you know I did the con. You up the icon, I see the fact. Missing I'm busy, but I hate I wake, so what I pack. I keep a searing in the rain, then I smoke as trash. And if I get, I'll keep a far. Know some planet, yeah. Taking trash to the sky from my reason to living. All the flu on the blend, that resending you reeling. Dax geeking out of love, I might never be willing. You shall never know what you I can never forget. But tune in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I 7 in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, you know by now it's on the line of people, but you never know this name is Kanana sequel. Speaking fresh, taking down, so decide the needle. Put down, stay the time to lime like you want the needles. And if you hate when I like the brown, it's like your cam in the ground till they come around. But like I'm so fresh up and through the moose confused. And now I know what's up and noon and that was all for you. Say you never knew stakes is native Purricana. I was go always not a like a bagel Drake your face. But I was thinking to his soul when I was by the cover. Hang out by rain, man, I ain't like the make whatever. I say kablim, flame mine, you gave me no resistance. This nap so hard, go within and never missing. Convinced that you me love me now, but sure never tripping. It's the enemies of all, boy, yo come and get tripping. Tune in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I say the in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream.
What up, dope fam? Welcome back to the liveliest corner of the internet, GPTV1. We're vibing right now and bringing you the freshest updates straight from the front lines where the stakes have never been higher. Of course, you know, I got to kick my music in to get this thing going right. Now the vibe is right. Tonight, we're diving deep into a game-changing moment as the executive order launches the first wave of defendants under the newly minted terrorism laws aimed squarely at drug cartels. That's right, fam. We're talking about serious repercussions here. That's some serious charges. And terrorism knows really some tough charges to deal with. These cartels, which have long thrived in the shadows, are about to find themselves facing some intense heat with these new laws in place. The government stepping up its game to dismantle these criminal organizations that have wreaked havoc on communities and put countless lives at risk. Join me as I break down what this means for the future of law enforcement, for those involved in the trade, and how it might even shape the landscape of crime in America. I want to hear your thoughts too. Let's keep this conversation going in the chat. So grab your snacks, settle in, and let's get into it. The road ahead is murky, but together we'll navigate through the chaos. Stay tuned, fam, because this is just the beginning. Before we get into that, let's step into this public announcement. Welcome to the GP Inner Circle. What up, though, GP fam? I'm excited to announce that the GP membership is now officially active. This is your chance to step up and show your support in a way that truly matters. By joining the Inner Circle, you will unlock exclusive perks tailored just for the most dedicated supporters, because you deserve nothing less. But that's not all. The Super Chat feature is now live, giving you an even greater opportunity to engage with me and the community in real time. Your support fuels my passion and creativity, inspiring me to deliver the kind of fire content that only the GP fam deserves. So why wait? Join the GP membership today and be a part of something special. Let's elevate this community together, because when you thrive, we all thrive. Welcome to the inner circle. Your journey starts now. Much love. Yeah, so the membership is wide open. Super Chat is wide open. There are perks involved, and you will enjoy it as I continue to build on this community and march towards 7,000 subscribers. I'm almost there. I know we can get there as a community, and then we're going to march straight to 10,000. We're going to march straight to 10,000 subscribers, and I can't wait for that. So back to this Trump and this terrorist thing they got going on, and it's something new, and they're going to implement these things. Now, this does not go for the traffickers that's actually in the country. So this is pointing at the people that's operating around the country, like on the outskirts of the country, which mostly pointed at the Mexican cartels. And by the way, the world is looking at the Mexican cartel. So it's not just America, but we're going to get into all of that. I want to look at share my screen, because I found the report talking about this. And Trump he tried to implement that during his first presidency, but right as of now, it's an executive order. So let's check out, let me share my screen and check out this report that I found talking about this situation. And this is Executive Order 141557, as you can see on the thumbnail. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna go here. So this is coming from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen there. Let me get the right screen up here. Okay, there we go. Getting the hang of working this GPTV1 live. You stopping by, click that like button, share this live stream. I appreciate it. I'm getting a little bit more views as I go along, but we know how to build a house, and you got to build it brick by brick. And it's the same thing with this. But let me share my screen now and check out this report. And this is coming from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Let me play that.
I'm United States Attorney Adam Gordon. Joining me are the lead prosecutors on this case, Joshua Miller and Matthew Sutton, along with FBI San Diego Acting Special Agent in Charge, Hutan Mashrefi, HSI San Diego Special Agent in Charge, John Gibson, and Executive Assistant United States Attorney Victor White. At the end of the statement, we will provide an opportunity for questions related to this case. Let me be direct. To the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel, you are no longer the hunters. You are the hunted. You will be betrayed by your friends, you will be hounded by your enemies, and you will ultimately find yourself and your fates here in a courtroom in the Southern District of California.
This guy right here is speaking with much conviction.
And in which our office unsealed today is the first in the nation to charge multiple alleged leaders of the Sinaloa cartel with narco-terrorism and material support of terrorism charges in connection with trafficking massive amounts of fentanyl, cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. The indictment was made possible by President Trump's Executive Order 14157, which designated the Sinaloa cartel as a foreign terrorist organization, and the Secretary of State's subsequent designation of the same on February 20th, 2025. On April 11th, 2025, I was sworn in as the United States Attorney. That same day, I created a narco-terrorism unit within our new organized crime section. This decision reflects our office's commitment.
So they immediately made this an executive order and they created this new department. Yeah, that's what they did.
To the Department of Justice's Take Back America priorities in targeting the leadership of these foreign terrorist organizations. Focusing on this indictment, the notorious Pedro Nzuza Noriega and his son, Pedro Nzuza Coronel, are charged with terrorism and drug trafficking charges. They are described in court documents as leaders of one of the largest and most sophisticated fentanyl production networks in the world on behalf of the Beltran-Leyva faction of the Sinaloa cartel. Since its inception, the Beltran-Leyva organization has been considered one of the most violent drug trafficking operations in Mexico, engaging in shootouts, murders, kidnapping, torture, and violent collection of drug debts to sustain its operation.
Yeah, when you bring all that type of elements into the organization, that can bring heat, and it's all about who is willing to step to these people and try to combat all of this. And again, all this stuff raises up drug prices, illegal drug prices, because now they got to find different routes. They got to go different methods. And these guys, they got money, they got political power, they hire lobbyist type people. So let's go.
Our lead defendant, Pedro Nzuza Noriega, is well known to law enforcement. His nickname is El de la Silla, which means the man in the chair.
Man in the chair. Ironically, this guy's name is Noriega,
because he was partially paralyzed in a shooting by a rival cartel. Since the early 2000s, Nzuza Noriega has been one of the top distributors of cocaine and now fentanyl into the United States. To be more specific, over the past several years, father and son have trafficked tens of thousands of kilograms of fentanyl into the United States. For example, on December 3rd, 2024, Mexican law enforcement raided.
So this operation is allegedly led by a father and son. I'm about to come back and do an episode on this, on Gangsta's Paradise, and just get more in detail. Right now, I'm just covering this story because Trump has been doing a lot of negotiating with a lot of these countries, and a lot of these countries having these same problems, and they all know it's coming out of Mexico. So let's listen to more.
Multiple locations in Sinaloa that are controlled and managed by the father and son, and seized 1,500 kilograms. That's more than 1.65 tons of fentanyl, the largest known fentanyl seizure in the world.
Yeah, I got to go back and check out my video I did entitled "The New World on Drugs," and I'm actually working on another documentary. Y'all be on the lookout for that. It's gonna take some time for that one. I got to do a lot of research and things like that, but it's gonna be hot. I really like the content I'll be making, so just stick with me and be patient. It's definitely coming, but you have to go back and check out that video. It covers how these countries having these big drug busts, and I believe that these tariffs got a lot to do with it. You're stopping by GPTV1, click that like button, share this live stream. I want to thank y'all for joining me.
The current indictments reflect this U.S. Attorney's Office pursuit of the Sinaloa cartel, as we now have indictments pending against all alleged leaders of the Beltran-Leyva faction, including Chapo Isidro, El Musico, and the previously described Nzuza Noriega, aka Sagittario. These indictments join those our office has separately secured against another three leaders of the Sinaloa cartel, El Chapito, Mayito Flaco, and El Chino. You may ask why we are bringing these narco-terrorism and material support charges now. It is the acknowledgement through Operation Take Back America that narco-terrorists operate as a
Make America great again, huh?
cancer within a state. They metastasize violence, corruption, and fear, and if left unchecked, their growth would lead to the death of law and order. This indictment.
One of the things about taking down these cartels and all of that, it's just another one rise up because it just leaves a vacuum. A lot of these communities be struggling and they sort of look at these guys like heroes. They praise them. It's like bucking the system. It's like the kingpins in the hood and all that, how we look at those guys like Robin Hood, even though there's a lot of violence goes into that game, a lot of hating, a lot of jealousy, a lot of stuff goes into that, a lot of politicking, but we still praise them like heroes.
Is what justice looks like when the full measure of the Department of Justice, along with our law enforcement partners, is brought to bear against the Sinaloa cartel.
I've been going at this cartel for so long. I got Chapo got over here, and he locked up in America now, even though he had those brazen escapes over there in Mexico. They just couldn't contain him. And that's one of the things these narco dealers have to look out for because you're getting extradited over here.
If you act like a terrorist, you shouldn't be surprised if you are charged as one. I'd like to specifically thank our law enforcement partners, in particular Homeland Security Investigations and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, for their tireless efforts to bring these defendants to face justice here before American juries and jurists.
What I just say, extradition, it's going to be hard. Y'all can't do a lot of politicking over here like y'all do over there.
To describe the indictment in detail, I'd ask that Assistant United States Attorney Joshua Meller please come up.
Thank you, Adam. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua Meller, one of the prosecutors.
I want to hear a little bit of him, and I'm going to move on to this article. I want to look at a little bit of this executive order.
3 years of investigation that spanned 2 continents and numerous countries. The success of this investigation was a result of in collaboration of the FBI, HSI, and our foreign counterparts located in Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico. Through this collaboration, agents collected evidence that revealed that Pedro Nsunza Noriega is the leader of the notoriously
All Central American countries.
faction of the Sinaloa cartel. As was mentioned, since the 2000s, Pedro Nsunza Noriega has been one of the top producers of cocaine in the world. He also now works closely with his son to aggressively traffic fentanyl to the United States. They also have a very sophisticated money laundering operation that stretches from Colombia, Central America, Mexico, and throughout the United States, including here in San Diego, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Miami, and New York.
If you've ever wanted to know what a successful dropshipping store looks like, then this video.
I'm going to skip over that. I want to hear more about that money.
And his son, Pedro Nsunza Coronel, pure cocaine from Colombia, which then is transported by land, sea, and air to Central America, and then to Mexico, and eventually into the United States. The evidence also has revealed that Pedro Nsunza Noriega and Pedro Nsunza Coronel have trafficked tons and tons of fentanyl into the United States. As was previously mentioned, on December 3rd, 2024, several locations were raided by the Mexican Navy and seized over 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Stop sharing that. That's good enough. So yeah, the Mexican Navy went down there and raided and found all these kilos and all that. And they sort of explain how they're working it out. But I want to go to this article and read more about this executive order. Let me share my screen once again. I just want to, and again, all the would-be hustlers and ballers and stuff out there, I don't personally indulge in that. But this is some implications that the prices could go up. I want to look for this article. I think this is it. I want to make sure first before I actually share my screen. Make sure I'm pulling up the right article. I hope everybody out there doing good today. So I'm doing great. All right, I found the article I'm looking for. Share my screen. Stopping by, click that like button. I appreciate it. Look at this. I think this is it. I think this is it. No, that's not it. Let me find that article. Okay, I see what I'm doing. All right, let me go back here and share my screen once again. Okay, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right. President Trump, in one of his first actions back in office, signed an executive order that moves the U.S. government towards designating drug cartels as terrorist organizations. The decision is part of the Trump administration's broader efforts to crack down on the flow of drugs and people across the southern border. And they always complain about these politicians not living up to their word, the things they be campaigning about. But this guy sure is doing it. The order says cartels are national security threats in a way that traditional organized crime is not. They have conducted a campaign of violence and terror through the Western Hemisphere with destabilizing effects, including a flood of deadly drugs, violent criminals, and vicious gangs into the United States. Trump was saying all that through his campaign. It also says the cartels are well as two transnational gangs rooted in Central America, pose a national security threat to the U.S., and it says it is American policy to ensure the total elimination of these organizations' presence in the United States. The order instructs the U.S. State Department to recommend within 14 days whether to designate the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Yeah, it's been signed into executive orders. He's even proposing a death penalty for some of these people. So, and what does it mean for the cartels? They got to do a lot of politicking. They got to reorganize. What will a terrorist destination do? The U.S. government already has tools, including criminal charges and sanctions, that it can use to go after cartels. A terrorist destination will broaden those options. Yeah, usually with those terrorist organizations, they definitely attack the money, like all the money, the banking system they're using. They freeze up all these assets and all that. They definitely try to break you money-wise. The most significant additional tool, experts say, would be the ability to bring what are known as material support prosecutions. Under U.S. law, it is a crime to provide material support to a designated terrorist organization. So yeah, they find out that you helping these people, they'll lock you up too. They doing that right now to terrorist type people. They got any inclination that you're doing terrorist type stuff and supporting these organizations, they'll come get you. They're extra. If you from somewhere else, they're gonna revoke your citizenship here, your green cards and all that stuff. They're gonna send you back to your country. So that's just a fair warning. In the context of drug cartels, prosecutors could potentially use this charge against a whole range of actors. Yeah, I can see into the future, including cartel members, the street gangs in the U.S., that sell narcotics, as well as anyone who provides financial or logistical support. That's what they do. And the terrorist organizations, they go around the world, they raise money, they even work little jobs, they own businesses and all that stuff. And they send money back to these sympathizers to their causes. So if you are sending money back to these cartels or giving them any type of money or selling stuff in the name of the cartels, they can lock you up too. They'll give you one of those terrorist attack charges. Now, I ain't saying that everyone would actually go to prison, but they will extradite you if you're from somewhere else. That's a fact. They're doing it to these other terrorist type people, which is mostly Middle Eastern people. Well, right now, the Ukraine and Russia stuff is going on. Then you got this stuff going on in Israel. Israel and all that stuff going over there with the hostages and all that. So, and you have sympathizers over here that's sympathize with those causes on both sides. And they've been sending them people out of here. The ripple effects, though, could be bigger. There's going to be a lot of politics going into this. Some analysts note that the U.S. companies that do business in Mexico routinely make payments to Mexican companies, some of which could be controlled by or affiliated with a cartel or cartel members. That could possibly expose those American firms to penalties. That's kind of complex right there. That's very complex. Like I said, he may want to go after these cartels aggressively. There's going to be some pushback in there somewhere. I can almost assure you all of that one. There's going to be some pushback. You got to go through some political stuff. And this seems very, very complex. Migrants could also potentially be swept up in a material support prosecution. Experts say migrants often pay smugglers to get through Mexico or across the U.S.-Mexican border, although smugglers often have ties to cartels, and that could provide grounds for American authorities to keep those migrants out of the U.S. Yeah, well, he want to do some cleansing around here. He already shipping people back over there right now, like these illegal immigrants and all that. He's shipping them back over there right now. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's what's going on right now. They're pulling people over just to check and see, because I got pulled over a couple times. They didn't give me no ticket, but they pulled me over what I thought was something. Well, most of us think it's petty they get pulled over, but they're out there looking and hunting for those illegal immigrants. The U.S. president already has the authority to conduct a military action, and designation wouldn't change that. But American military strikes inside Mexico would be a major step, and Mexico made it clear that it opposes any such actions. They got their own sovereignty over there. They're not going to let America just come over there and just attacking people. Even with these drones he produces, he can't go across there just openly attacking these cartels. So they're going to have to use his politics. And it says right here that he considered it before, and Obama also considered it. When they hit the floor and got to go through Congress and all that type of stuff, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get stuff through. I'm interested in seeing what Mexico think about this. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has said Mexico would defend its sovereignty. I just said that. We'll also try to coordinate with the United States. Yeah, he's going to try to politic and try to get much as help as he can. He's going to continuously negotiate with this. He really want to take down these cartels all the way. Like, he want to obliterate them. The cartel issue can't be viewed in a vacuum, said Maria Calderon, a Mexico scholar at the Wilson Center and Nonpartisan Policy Center in Washington, D.C. We need to see the security component of the U.S.-Mexico border relation ingrained with the trade and immigration conversations. Yeah, it's going to be kind of difficult for all of this. But But they got a new department that's supposed to be covering this type of stuff. Now, I just wanted to cover this story because this is a part of the political landscape. It's part of the political landscape when it comes to the hustle game, and it trickles down to the hoods and all that type stuff. So when pressure goes up like this, that means the prices of drugs could go up. When I used to hustle back in the day, they used to have drought season where it just become just increasingly dry on the streets and the prices fluctuate. Definitely went through that. But with this right here, these cartels are going to have to reorganize. And these are some really tough charges they get. If they get charged on these terrorist charges, that stuff probably can lead to the death penalty. You have to look that one up. Most of us know about this terrorist stuff. We've been going through that in this country forever. You got domestic terrorists and you got these nationwide terrorists that do bombings, suicide bombings, and that type stuff. So, and they'll lock you up. You'd be locked up forever before you even go to court on those terrorist charges. So they get inside there, and you likely to be locked up in there forever before you even go to court. So once you extradite you over here, you can't do no politicking over here. You see what they do with Chapo. He was escaping from them prisons over there. But all this stuff is about supply and demand. Supply and demand. The U.S. has been the leading drug-consuming country in the world for a long time, probably for 100 years. The U.S. consume more drugs than any country in the world. I see a few people in here. Y'all can jump in the comment section, click that like button. I want to thank y'all for joining me right here at GPTV1. I'm just covering the fact that this is the first case they charged somebody with this narco-terrorism charge. And they plan on going after these people with this charge right here. If they get any inclination that you helping these cartels or selling work for them or whatever you're doing to feed their money going to them, they're going to charge you with this terrorist stuff. That's a fact. So the would-be hustlers out there, y'all got to figure something out. I'm not here to tell you how you run your operations and all that. But when you got pressure like this, and then it's just not the United States, it's the whole world looking at these Mexican cartels. And it's pretty tough to take them down because you can't go inside of Mexico and just obliterate them. So that is what it is. So they created this new section and within the government to go after these people and press this terrorism on these narco dealers. And this guy right here, ironically, his name is Noriega. He's being charged with this. This guy is the first guy, him and his son are the first two that's being charged with this narco-terrorism. That's incredible right there. And these are the things this dude was campaigning about. He said he was going after these guys. He definitely going after them. And I think that's why he raised those tariffs to get those countries to react on some of this stuff. You got to remember, Trump is more on the business. He's not like a socialist type of guy. That's why so many people call him racist and all that type stuff. He's more into negotiation and I guess bullying tactics, but they got self-interest. Trump and them, they got self-interest. His family and them, they robbing his country like on a daily basis. They robbing his country before he even became the president. That's a fact. Matter of fact, I seen a report about that just the other day with the crypto and stocks and all that type stuff. It was a major report. So it's people actually looking into that. When Trump came in, he took a lot of those people that was over those type things and dismantled these government agencies. So some of that stuff actually looked over the crypto and watched over that type stuff. He dismantled all of that. They coming off like, when Trump get out of office, his family will have enough money to last generation after generation after generation. And you can look at him now, you over there shaking hands with all these country leaders and all that type stuff. Even the country just left, his family got interests over there. I think he got some Trump branded stuff over there. So it is what it is. This stuff is in the executive order right now, and this is the first case. This guy and his son. But it's just going to create another vacuum, and some other leaders is going to step up. And if you dismantle this organization, it's just going to be another organization that steps up. This is GPTV1. I want to thank y'all for joining me for this episode right here. I just kept getting notifications about it. I just wanted to speak on it. I actually tried to do an episode on this. Had some technical difficulty with that program, so I just went on and went live with it. But like I said, I'm working on another documentary right now. It's going to take some time to get that documentary done because I'm really working on it. I'm doing the worksheet right now to get that done. It's going to probably take some months to get it done, but you all can go back and check out my episode I did. It's called The New World on Drugs, and it sort of covered this type of stuff and how it can trickle down to the hustlers in the streets, like where we come from, because it affects everybody. Because the street hustlers kicking the money upward. It's like a vertical thing. So at the end of the day, it ends up to the cartels. So basically, everybody in the hood who hustling and all that, we paying for their armies and all that type stuff. So. But like I said, I'm not here to tell people how to run organizations and things of that nature. But it's just a fair warning that things are going to change. This guy is definitely coming after these cartels. He made a promise of that. He got a fetish against them. Like them cartels, like criminals, gangsters, people with mental health issues and stuff like that. Trump just cannot stand that, especially if you're coming from another country. He just cannot take that. Like he repeatedly said that in his campaign. They letting people out these mental health institutes and they sending them over here. He repeatedly said that stuff. So he cannot stand those type of people. He gonna do what he can to get rid of them. They're like number one on his list. It sure ain't Israel and Ukraine and Russia and all that type stuff. He had his eyes set on them cartels down there in Mexico. He want to obliterate them. He don't like that flow of fentanyl and all that stuff. Maybe because he ain't getting none of that money. Maybe because his hand in that pot. He got his hand in another pot. This is GPTV1. You stopping by, click that like button. The super chat is wide open. Y'all can check out the membership. Got some fresh merch over there at the GP store. You can check that out. Trying to grow some funds around here. Your support means the world to me, so anything helps. Another thing I want to mention too, when I continue to build up my subscribers, I'm also going to have a space where we just going to talk about money and investments and all that stuff. I probably won't post it on this particular space, but it'll be associated with it. We're going to be talking about stocks and all that type of stuff. I like to talk about the money and I like to make money too. So the more subscribers I get, when I get it really, really built up, I'm going to really start it off. I follow the stocks and all that type stuff. I'm all about making some money. And I like to network with people. And, it's nothing like a bunch of eyes on the market instead of 2 eyes. If you got 100 eyes on it, it's all good. But anyway, I want to thank y'all for joining me. This is GPTV1. I'm ready to sign off. I thought this would be a good episode to go live with. And we're going to keep dropping live content. Go to the GP channel and check out some of the other content. I think I covered the Beltron cartel. I think I'm going to have to do another family cartel on this one. Another episode on that. I need to do another episode on this father and son. And once y'all get over here, y'all cook, buddy. This guy right here, once you get over here, you cook, buddy. Like they say with P. Diddy, you are cooked. once you get in these, going to these courts, oh, this ain't Mexico. It's not Mexico. You can't dig no hole in no bathroom over here, buddy. Well, you know what? It was just a jailbreak. They just actually went through a bathroom and get out of prison. So, but I believe that was one of them state prisons or whatever, you know. So, but as far as how Chapo, how he escaped out of those prisons, this ain't that. You can't do that over here. You can't have people come digging some trail or something up under some prison. So once you get over here, you cook, buddy. You see, they did with Chapo. He got over here. He been stuck in there ever since. So once y'all make it over here, they do the extradition and all that stuff. You done, buddy. You ain't going back to Mexico. Once you make it over here, you ain't going back over there. That's a fact. I see a few people in here. But yeah, once these guys make it over here, for anybody else that's associated with this, so man, it could be so many people arrested on this type stuff. Even those terrorists, they arrest them, and this bigger than a RICO. Like them RICO charges, this is definitely bigger than that. You know, those RICO charges more like the mafia type of organizations or whatever. But these guys like bigger than like the mafia, you know. Even the Costa Nostra guys, they were rich and all that stuff, but they didn't make money like these guys. These guys make top dollar. You know, it comes in the billions for sure. So this, in my opinion, this is bigger than like those RICO charges. This that terrorist stuff. So this like some worldwide type stuff, you know. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. So, but anyway, catch me on the next live. Subscribe to the channel. Click the like button.